America's pastime has been a part of the Vegas community for over 40 years. And as our city grew, so did the love of the game. Now, excitement is growing for our next home team. All season long, Fox 5 and the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network are covering athletics baseball on the field in our community. As we build our future together, America's pastime will soon call the Valley home. Play ball, Las Vegas. This is Covering the Bases with the A's.
What's up, baseball fans? Welcome to our brand new show, the first of its kind, the first ever Vegas show devoted strictly to athletics baseball. This is Covering the Bases with the A's. Mike Davis along with Kevin Bollinger. Kevin, tell us what's on deck.
We had a lot going on. Here is the batting order for today's show. We have a look ahead as the A's are on the road trip, taking on the LA Dodgers and the San Francisco Giants. Plus, we take a closer look inside the clubhouse with athletics insider Jessica Kleinschmidt. And later, we're going on the farm as the broadcast voice of the Aviators, Matt Neverett, joins us in studio. But first, we need to recap an exciting homestand featuring an interdivision battle with the Seattle Mariners and a high-scoring series with the New York Yankees.
Yeah, so let's take a closer look at the first series in that homestand against the Seattle Mariners. The guys dropped 2 in a row after stealing an exciting Game 1 in extras. A clutch performance from rookie shortstop sensation Jacob Wilson was the difference.
Now, Wilson was the walk-off hero. He drove in the winning run with a single in the 11th inning. But before that, he had another huge moment in the bottom of the 10th, going the other way, and a great piece of hitting for the RBI single to bring home the tying run. After the game, Wilson was asked about his success in the clutch.
I think you just gotta kind of go up there and just stay confident. You know, my thing is, I go up there, I'm like, you always gotta think that you're the right guy for the spot.
And the 23-year-old rookie has absolutely proven he's the right guy for that spot. The number 6 overall pick in the 2023 MLB draft. Of course, he had high expectations entering the show, but no one could expect a historic level of production. So get this, Kevin. As we're taping this show on Wednesday, May 14th, Wilson is on a streak with 58 hits and 26 RBIs in just 40 games this season. He has 68 career games in total, but it only took him 62 to become the second fastest player ever to reach 3 walk-off hits in the divisional era, which goes back to 1969.
Now, in Wednesday's game against the Mariners, he was 4 for 5 in the afternoon. Couldn't come up with that clutch hit on the last day as the A's lost a tight one, 6-5. But this is a guy who's certainly making rookie history. Definitely the front runner right now for AL Rookie of the Year.
Now, Kevin, could Jacob Wilson's early success have anything to do with fatherly advice? Share a little bit of that story with him.
Son of a big leaguer, and we've seen through history that those players tend to produce when they get to the show. Jacob, he's an LA kid, attended Thousand Oaks High School in California, but his dad was a shortstop just like him, Jack Wilson. Fans might remember him playing with the Pirates, the Mariners, and the Braves. Well, Jacob has become the reliable bat in the A's order, and he doesn't strike out. He's only done it 9 times in 160 at-bats this season. He gets the barrel on the ball a lot, and that's been huge for him and the A's.
When you can hit for contact and power, you got a bright future. Now, he's a big reason why the A's are battling it out for first place in the AL West. Now, Wilson has truly been a bright spot for the team, racking up 8 hits, 4 RBIs, and just 1 walk and 1 strikeout in that series versus the Mariners.
Now let's go to the next series there at the homestand up in West Sacramento. The guys, they took on the big AL East leading New York Yankees and a red-hot Aaron Judge, who was having a homecoming. He grew up just outside of Sacramento.
Yeah, Judge is leading the MLB in batting average, home runs, RBIs, and hits. A tremendous start for the guy who's already been a 2-time MVP. Now, after a 10-2 loss in Game 1, the A's responded with a big-time offense in Game 2, even if Judge continued his top-notch play, hitting 2 homers.
But on the A side, it was all about Shea Langoliers heading in the A's, the 40th game of the season so far. Langoliers with a day on this one. He racked up 4 hits and 5 RBI, both career highs for him.
Yeah, it was Shea's home run in the bottom of the 7th with 2 runners on that gave the A's the lead. It was a key win and the Athletics' only win in the 3-game series. Then on Mother's Day with ace Luis Severino taking the mound for the A's. The Bronx Bombers came out swinging again. Already up 6-1, Yankees first baseman Ben Rice hit a grand slam in the fifth to seal the deal. So the A's grab 1 out of 2 in that homestand. A tough Yankees lineup and a tough series for the A's. Kevin, what's your big takeaway from that battle with the Bronx Bombers?
Well, it really comes down to the A's pitching staff. They had some tired arms, especially in the bullpen, until they got that day off between the Mariners and Yankees series. The A's have played 14 straight days. Manager Mark Kotsay really did his best to try and maneuver his way around availability with that bullpen and in-game situations. But there were games like in that Yankees series where it really just caught up to him.
Hey, you and me work a week straight here. We're tired. Imagine going 14 games there. Okay, guys, now on deck, it's A's Insider, Jessica Kleinschmidt. After the break, we're going inside the clubhouse.
We have got the first of a series of trivia questions I'll be asking you about all season. We're starting at the very beginning. The A's were founded as a charter member of the American League all the way back in 1901. In that first season, their starting second baseman won the first Triple Crown in American League history. So he led the league in average, home runs, and runs batted in. Which of these whimsically named players was it? Elmer Flick, Napoleon Lajoie, Sock Siebold, or Bones Eli? The answer after the break.
You're watching Covering the Bases with the A's.
All right, we are back with the answer to which athletics player won the first American League Triple Crown in the very first year the league existed. If you said B, Napoleon Lajoie, you are correct. This dude was nuts. He was called Nap for short. He was the most popular player in the league back then, so popular that the team he played for after the A's, Cleveland, literally named their team after him. We're going to show you more about him later on. But for now, Kevin, send it over to you.
All right, thanks, Mike. Time to get an inside look at what's going on with the A's. I spoke recently with A's Insider, Jessica Kleinschmidt. What's been your biggest takeaway here over this A's team through the first 6 weeks of the season?
I think it was just have some patience because we knew what this team possessed. It was about putting in actual game scenarios. And I will admit, yes, some of the wins, actually most of the wins are against some teams that aren't quite over the 500 mark. But I think overall, collectively, I wasn't super surprised what happened with Jacob Wilson. Those numbers speak for themselves. But as time goes on, the starting pitching has been great. The bullpen's been out of control in the best ways. But it's kind of everything we saw at spring training. We just get to see that in actual game production now. So all good things. Obviously, there's some things that we need to work on as time goes on, but I think everything that they need to work on, they're very aware of. It's still not quite game time as far as we can say it's a little bit early in the season, but as time goes on, hopefully a lot of those edges will round themselves out.
Fans here in Las Vegas got a look at Zach Geloff during a rehab assignment coming back from the broken wrist, but he's been shut down since then with a rib injury. Where is he at right now, and how soon do you think we can get him back into the lineup?
Yeah, a few days ago, it was about the 2-week mark because when you get a rib injury, you can't have any sort of activity for 2 weeks. So they are in the midst of the process of that. But I will say, Luis Urias did an amazing job taking over. I think he's been great in the clutch. But like we talked about, Geloff is such a guy that you want as part of the team, not just defensively, but hitting. He has some stuff to prove. And I think that was showing over spring. But for now, he's shut down for a little bit because we don't want to make those injuries any worse.
Well, it is early, as you talked about, but the A's are in the mix here towards the top of the AL West. There seems to be a confidence within this group that they're ready to take the next step.
Yeah, and the AL West is very unique this season compared to past seasons and really across the league. It's really not one team running away with it. Maybe the Detroit Tigers, but as far as the AL West goes, the team did pretty well against the Mariners. I will say that's probably the biggest thorn in the side of the team, even compared to the Astros. But when it comes to the overall aspect, the Rangers aren't playing as well as a lot of us may have anticipated, despite not being far removed from the World Series. Hitting's not quite there. The pitching is really stellar, but let's be honest, you can't score runs if you can't hit the ball. And Marcus Semien, we know how well he plays. Those numbers aren't really idyllic for him. And so as time goes on, it's been kind of great to see what these guys are doing. The Angels are kind of interesting too. They made a lot of interesting moves this offseason, but across the board, I mean, the A's are really hanging in there, and it's for the first time in a while. And especially with the way that the overview of that division is looking, it's anybody's game.
Well, Jessica, thanks for your time. We appreciate the insight. We look forward to talking to you throughout the season.
Thanks for having me.
He's the A's top prospect, 22-year-old first baseman Nick Kurtz dominated the minor leagues before getting called up to the show on April 23rd. Now the 4th overall pick of the 2024 MLB draft is looking to prove himself on the big stage. And as we tape this on Wednesday, May 14th, just last night the rookie had a memorable one, hitting his first ever career home run in the majors. Reporter Mariah Janos spoke with the slugger. Let's get to know Nick Kurtz.
It's kind of hard to kind of put into words. Just something you've been working for your whole life and finally here. So it's just starting to become just like normal every single day.
Nick's new normal came a lot quicker than anticipated. His advanced approach at the plate propelled the slugger to becoming just the 6th fastest player in franchise history to reach the big leagues in terms of days from the date he was drafted at 283.
It was definitely on my radar at some point throughout the year. Was not on that radar that be that fast. I think it was just, a timing thing. I started feeling really good at the plate towards the end of spring training. We gotta just keep going from there.
That certainly was the case for Kurtz, who dominated at the plate with the Aviators, racking up 6 homers in his first 10 games. The hot bat stuck with him in his big league debut against the Texas Rangers, where Kurtz recorded his first career hit and RBI.
Complete nervous, excited, anxious, kind of all the emotions put together. And to be able to get the job done, get a 2-out RBI was really cool.
But despite being more than ready for the call-up, it's still an adjustment playing in the majors.
It's not just throwing, it's pitching. Guys know where to throw the ball, especially at the big league level. It definitely was a little bit of a learning curve and trying to figure out, all right, what's going to work here, what's not going to work, and kind of just playing around with things and, making adjustments at bat to bat, game to game. Now
that Nick has achieved his lifelong dream of making it to the MLB, his focus shifts to playing for the guys in green and gold.
My whole goal right now is, I made it here. It's time to focus on winning over anything else. That's the only thing that really matters. And now find a way to get help this team to the playoffs.
Seems like a great guy. So get this, Kevin. When Kurtz was initially called up on April 23rd for his major league debut, Kurtz led all of baseball, including the minors and the majors, with 7 home runs. So if you like pedigree, he's a dude with a lot of it as the A's top prospect and MLB Pipeline's 33rd overall prospect. Kev, how big of a foundational piece will Kurtz be for the A's now, but also in the future?
Yeah, he's going to be massive because he gives them some power. That was on display in the opening game of the Dodgers series. He went the other way for his first big league home run to left center at Chavez Ravine. He just has a sweet swing. And keep in mind that a year ago at this time, he was still playing college baseball at Wake Forest. And he had a huge spring. He had a home run at Big League Weekend here in Las Vegas at the Aviators ballpark. He earned his call up to start with the AAA with the Aviators. A lot of people thought he would start in AA, and he started so hot, as Mariah told us, with the Aviators. He got the call to the big leagues. And you can tell that his teammates have already connected with him. They gave him the silent treatment after his first dinger, and then, of course, bobbed him in the dugout. That's the ultimate sign of respect.
Oh, yeah, I was always dreaming of that when I was in the little leagues. Guys, we'll see what's going on coming up because guess what? We're going back in time. Get ready for our first edition of Green and Gold Throwback. Plus, a trip to the farm. The broadcast voice for the Aviators joins us in the studio.
You're watching Covering the Bases with the A's.
2025 is the 125th year the A's have been playing baseball. They're exactly half as old as the United States. During our Green and Gold Throwback series, we're giving you a look back at this storied franchise all the way back. The story begins in 1901 when a brand new team is created in the city of brotherly love. It's the turn of a new century, and baseball is a rough game for rough people. Too rough for a lot of fans who are coming to fewer National League games by the end of the 1890s than before. The NL is the only major league at this point. And a man wanting to take advantage of their lack of popularity, Ban Johnson, declares his American League as a major league in 1901 in direct competition with the NL, promising a cleaner style of baseball than the rough and tumble National League. Now, in order for this league to stick, Johnson knows he's got to have an East Coast presence. That's where most of the people are. So, he puts a team in Philadelphia, the country's 3rd biggest city at the time. They're named the Athletics. Half the team is made of cast-offs who didn't even play Major League Baseball the year before, like Gettysburg Eddie Plank, the only player in Major League history who was born in the town where the Union turned the tide of the Civil War. Plank was immediately the team's ace, and to this day he still holds career franchise records for wins, strikeouts, and shutouts. Much of the other half of the team came over from the crosstown Phillies for the promise of a higher salary. Those players were the centerpiece of an all-out war between the AL and NL, and no player who did that was more prominent than the A's first ever second baseman, Napoleon Lajoie, who came over from the Phillies as the most popular player in baseball. Right off the bat, the man they called Nap for short won the very first Triple Crown in American League history, meaning he led the league in batting average, home runs, and runs batted in. In fact, since that performance, no Major League player has ever hit for a higher average in a single season than Nap's .426 in 1901. Thanks in large part to Nap's Herculean efforts, the team did pretty well, posting a winning record in their first year, good for 4th out of 8 in the AL. So, a promising start to the franchise, but legal troubles around Nap Lajoie through the 1902 season completely up in the air. Next week, I'll tell you why the fate of their star second baseman actually came down to a decision made by the Pennsylvania Supreme Court. Mike, now I'll send it over to you.
Okay, I'm here with Matt Neverett, the broadcast voice of the Aviators, the AAA affiliate of the Athletics. Thanks for being here, man. So it's been a great start for the Aviators this season. This team is first in the Pacific Coast League, has the second best record in all of AAA. So how big of a surprise is this for you, the voice behind this team?
Well, Mike, thanks for having me. Happy to come and help out. Not necessarily a big surprise, so to speak. Coming into the year, this Aviators team had 10 of the top 30 prospects in the A's system to start, which is more prospects than they've ever had, really, since they opened up in 2019 out in Summerlin. So there were high expectations, and the bats have lived up to it. Best team batting average in all of minor league baseball. The pitching has been really, really solid, about as good as it's ever been. The best ERA in the league as well. So really firing on all cylinders here at the beginning of the year.
It's really great stuff. Now let's talk about this, because Kevin and I in the back office were discussing last year. In total, you guys had about 250 transactions. Even in May of last year, it was maybe 70, 60 around that time. Now this May, it's like 5 or 6 transactions. What's the difference here, and how does that make a big difference on the field?
I'll tell you what, Mike, it makes it easier for us in the front office when you've got less players going in and out, so we'll take it at the very least. But no, that roster stability is one of the reasons why this team has had so much success so far through 40 games, especially in the crop of position players. I mean, when you know day in and day out what your lineup is going to look like, more or less top to bottom and defensively, it makes it so much easier, especially for the pitchers. And that's been the big difference this year. The bats are going to be what they are in the offense-friendly Pacific Coast League, but for the Aviators to lead the league in team ERA, that is incredible, especially considering that their team ERA is about half of what it normally is. The stability has really seeped its way into the starting rotation as well. They've got one of the best rotations in the PCL, and the bullpen has been excellent. I think that's been the biggest difference, and probably the biggest area where that roster stability has helped out is in the relief corps.
So the synergy between AAA and the bigs, it's good stuff. Now, last thing here, Max Muncy, this is a guy, a first-round pick in 2021. He got his MLB debut this year, so he's been up in the bigs. He's been with the Aviators, but this guy's playing all over the field. I mean, he's in third, he's at second, he's at short, so he was filling in a lot for Geloff up top. Tell us, do you think we're starting to see the beginnings of a new construction of this kind of infield with the superstar in Jacob Wilson, with Kurtz? How is this shaping up?
Well, they've really got a pretty diverse infield as far as guys that can play some different spots. Now, when Zach Geloff gets healthy, he is the second baseman. Jacob Wilson will be the shortstop. That leaves third base kind of open long term. The A's signed Gio Urshela to a short-term deal this offseason to kind of be a stopgap for guys like Max Muncy, Darryl Hernandez, Logan Davidson, guys that play over at the hot corner in AAA that are just about ready to go but may need a little bit more seasoning. And Max Muncy is one of the most intriguing prospects that I've ever been around. Really funny guy. He was actually Jacob Wilson's high school second baseman in Thousand Oaks, California, under his dad, Jack Wilson, the former big league shortstop. So there's that synergy there. I think that'll help eventually on the left side of the infield. And Muncy, the number 3 prospect in the A's organization, has reached base in all 17 games since being optioned down. He's taking care of business, and his defensive flexibility is what's going to not only get him back up to the big leagues soon, but keep him there for a long time. He's one of the most fun guys off the field as well.
All right, great stuff there from Matt and Everett. Thanks so much for being with us. We'll learn more about Belly Busters Night at Summerlin at the Las Vegas Ballpark. Thanks again, Matt.
Happy to help.
A's fans get priority access to purchase season tickets in Las Vegas for just $19.01.
Now, current season ticket members for the A's, plus Aviators season ticket holders, as well as Clark County residents who secure their spot on the priority access list, will receive purchase priority ahead of the general fan. For more, you can visit athletics.com/Vegas.
And Aviators fans, on May 16th, your team will become the Las Vegas Belly Buster.
It's honoring the iconic Vegas buffet. For one night only, the Aviators will sport new fits with a new logo, enjoy a buffet, and limited edition merch.
Sounds good. Okay, so now, Kev, let's take a closer look at what's ahead for the A's. First, the LA Dodgers and the San Francisco Giants. Both teams are very strong at home.
And the A's smashed the Dodgers on the road on Tuesday in the first game of that series, 11-1.
Yeah, and who would play hero? Who else but rookie sensation Jacob Wilson, who smashed 2 homers, his first multi-home run game, and his first 4 RBI game.
As we told you, Wilson grew up in Thousand Oaks. He was going to Dodger games a lot as a kid when he was just a fan in the stands. But he said about 40 family members were there at that first game, and I'm sure a lot of buddies showed up as well.
Of course.
Now, after the Dodger series, the A's will head to San Francisco to take on the Giants, another strong NL West team.
Yeah, they got some studs in that rotation as well, but we'll see what happens there in San Francisco.
That is a wrap for our first ever edition of Covering the Bases with the A's. For Mike Davis and the rest of the team here, I'm Kevin Bollinger.
Thanks for joining us. We'll be back next week. Until then, be good and go A's.